I could talk all day about my Copy on Demand clients and how much I love delivering inside of Copy on Demand. And in today's episode of Copy and, the marketing podcast for entrepreneurs to learn how to write copy that sounds like them but converts better, I'm giving myself that opportunity. In today's episode, you're going to hear from my Copy on Demand clients, and you're going to see that real behind the scenes of Copy on Demand, what clients are really saying about their experience and how they've benefited from having me, a copywriter, in their back pocket all year long. Let's get started. As a podcast listener, you have probably heard me talk about how important it is to get client voice. I get client voice in a few different ways. I survey my audience, as in my clients, when they join Copy on Demand and systemically throughout the year. I also do one-time survey at the end of the year. I'm going to share some client feedback from when people first joined and client feedback that they've given me after months or even years of being inside of Copy on Demand. But first, what is Copy on Demand? Copy on Demand is a membership, technically, for entrepreneurs like you to write copy that sounds like you but converts better. How do you do that? By submitting copy to me 4 times per month. Every Tuesday, I sit down and review copy, and you can choose whether you want that feedback in a Loom video or directly in your document. This feedback isn't just, here's what to change, it's why you should change it. So I give a ton of context around what the sales psychology is of why you should make changes so that next time you sit down to write copy, it feels easier. You feel more confident every single time you hit publish because you know what the best practices are. People submit copy of all kinds. It can be at any part of your funnel, including opt-in pages, sales pages, emails, ads, even parts of your website. Anything that you are writing to sell is something that you can submit to me and get my feedback on. So when people first join Copy on Demand, I ask them a series of questions, but one of them is, why did you join this? Why are you here? I've had almost 100 people join Copy on Demand over the last 3 years that it's been active. So here's a few examples of what people say. They want to communicate their offers better. They want to communicate what makes them different. Their messaging feels difficult because they're serving multiple audiences. They struggle with their email list. They love to write, but coming up with a topic for what to write feels awful. Somebody else said they love to write, and coming up with topics to write feels like a chore. They want to feel more confident in writing for their website and emails. They want reviews of their launch copy. One person said, I launch twice a year and know that my pre-launch is becoming increasingly important, so I need to be writing more all year long. They want increased conversions is something that comes up a lot. They want fresh eyes on their copy so that it can be improved. They want better copy, improved writing, more organic sales, improving their messaging, reviewing their copy, improving clarity, increasing conversions. You're starting to see a theme here, aren't you? So once people have been in Copy on Demand for a while, I want to be sure that I'm delivering on why they joined Copy on Demand. And I always say that Copy on Demand does 3 things. It helps you write better copy, faster, and more confidently. By better copy, I mean copy that sounds like you but converts better. I think too often we see that there are 2 options. We either write this long story that's totally personal, but it doesn't sell, or we write sales copy that feels stale and like the life has been sucked out of it and then we don't see you anywhere in it. So I want both of those things to work together so that you sell more, not just in a singular email that you submit to me, but I want you to understand the sales psychology behind it so that you continually write copy that sounds like you but converts better. So even when you're not submitting it to me, you can look at it and say, I know what is going to convert. I see the patterns that my audience responds to and can write to that. So that's my goal for you, as well as the goal of the people who join Copy on Demand. They join because they want to convert. They also join because they want accountability, and they join because they want consistency. And speaking of that accountability, I surveyed my audience. Some people submitted their responses via audio and some people submitted via text. So I will read some of the text ones aloud, but let's start off by hearing from Karin. Karin is a coach for coaches. She has been in the industry for nearly 2 decades, and she's highly trusted amongst high-level coaches. However, she knows that she needs to be staying up with some of the copy trends and also just needs that accountability for reaching out to her audience more often so that she can stay top of mind long term.
I joined Copy on Demand because I knew that if someone else was waiting to review my copy, I would have a greater likelihood of doing it and of doing it well, of getting it done on a timeline that was supported by someone else's deadlines for me. So I really joined for an accountability around up-leveling my copy throughout the year at the same time as I'm learning as I watch and get the feedback from Sam, how to make copy better in general. So the first big win I had isn't actually a single big win. It's the fact that I have consistently submitted copy for feedback. I have never in my entire business done that. And so having her clear support in my business now is the win. It's the fact that I get the work in and she gets me the feedback, and then I go implement that feedback.
So that accountability perspective is super important, that I'm not breathing down your neck. Members actually only receive 1 email per week from me just reminding them to submit copy. It's on demand, so you can submit copy whenever you're working on things, no matter where you are in the world, at any time of the week. I sit down on Tuesday mornings and I do my reviews. So you know that you're going to hear from me by Wednesday morning every week, and then the cycle continues. I also think of it kind of like a gym membership. When you go out of town, you're not going to the gym. That's okay. Same thing with copy. Sometimes you just don't have things to work on for maybe a week or a month at a time. That's super normal as a business owner. But you also probably have more copy to write than you think you do. In fact, a lot of people join thinking that they're using it for just one launch, and then find that they can use copy on demand to refine all of the other copy in their funnels between launches. Because even if it's not necessarily an active sales period, you still have hundreds of pieces of copy in your business that should be selling for you in the background. That's exactly what happened to my client, Sadie. Sadie's a nutritionist, and she specifically serves people who have IBS. And what happened with her is she joined before a launch, and she said in her feedback form, I've increased my click rates to my sales page for my emails in my post-webinar funnel. After reviewing and revising the entire funnel, I was able to get clicks in every single sales email to the sales page of my program. I now feel more confident about what to change and adjust, especially when I use AI to write or draft my copy. Which brings up 2 good points. Again, to reiterate, she redid her funnel with a launch in mind. She then went back and found that she went from sometimes 0 clicks to at least clicks in every single email. She's getting people to her sales page. She's refining that funnel with accountability. The second thing I want to point out here is she mentioned AI. And yeah, we're using AI to write our copy. I wish people didn't, but I can't stop you from doing that. But what I can help you do is, even if AI is writing your first drafts, I can help you look at that copy and see what about it is working and what's not, so that you can train your brain and maybe turn around and train your bots to write copy that sounds like you, but, and this is the important part, converts better. Because AI is conditioned to sound human-ish. It is not conditioned to sell. It is not trained to sell. So when you know the sales principles, you can go back through your AI copy and make it not only sound more like you, but also help it convert better. And let's talk more about sales. My client, Frenchie, had something really interesting to say about this.
I first joined Copy on Demand. I'm super OG. I got invited to be part of the first round, and it was like the easiest yes ever, because having Sam in my corner, I knew would be invaluable to me and to my business, and frankly, to my peace of mind. So that was super, super easy, and I haven't left since, because having that resource in my back pocket that is a human who I know is supporting me and who is invested in my success is huge. One of the big wins that I've had through Copy on Demand, well, there's a couple. One of the first that I can think of is really an increase. I think I had about a 20% increase on one of my conversion rate of one of my landing pages, which is massive. And it really was just using all of Sam's advice and her feedback and integrating it, which really made all of the difference. And then I think the other piece of it is like a little bit harder to measure, but the time saved of just having an expert's eyes on something, right? Sometimes it's not just about having somebody do all the writing for you, but somebody looking at what you've created and telling you how you can make it better. It's that extra gut check that I just need.
100%. We love a reframe when it comes to selling. A lot of times we've been conditioned to think that sales is the S word, right? And when you engage your audience more often, when you reframe how you see yourself selling, and when you can create first drafts that you actually like to work with, and just take a little bit of refinement or getting that sign off from me, it changes the way that you trust yourself in your business. It saves you time, it makes you money, and it builds confidence. And honestly, copy on demand is bite-sized. That's what Karin said in her feedback, is that she gets to learn in her business while she does it. In fact, copy on demand typically takes about 10 minutes of your time per week. Filling out the form to submit your copy to me takes like 2 minutes. And I try to keep my feedback so bite-sized and potent that it typically takes people 5 to 7 minutes to watch the videos or go through the feedback that I leave in their documents. So you get these tangible improvements in your sales processes and in your copy, and you do it on your time without having to sit down and go through some course on the internet. It is 100% catered to you. In fact, this bespoke way of working with me, which honestly, working with a copywriter, my minimum engagement is $2,500. Most of my projects range between $6,000 and $10,000. So to have me working with you on your copy all year long for less than $2,500 is a really freaking big deal. But part of the reason that people stay in copy on demand is better said by Frenchie than me.
I stay in copy on demand because knowing that that resource is available to me, knowing that when I am ready to put something out into the world, I can get expert eyes on it is hugely valuable to me. I'm busy. I have a lot going on. I run multiple verticals to my businesses. And so I am always looking to be efficient. And to me, this is one of the ultimate ways that I can be most efficient. Bonus, Sam is just really awesome to work with. And so I respect her. I respect how she works. I respect the work that she does. And so coming back every year and collaborating with a business owner who shares values with me is fun, easy, and rewarding.
She also said that she doesn't use copy on demand every week, but when she does, she knows that it's invaluable. Sometimes one review has such a big impact on her business, or when I offer feedback, the way that she sees a sale or a launch going is invaluable. And then she also sometimes sends the same things week after week to keep iterating and improving them. This is especially common not just with Frenchie, but with everybody when they're working on their sales pages or have a long-term launch.
I stay in copy on demand because I'm not done yet. I'm not done learning from her, and I'm not done getting through all of my stuff. And I'm excited to get to like the end of a year and see where we've gotten, because already we've gone through so much stuff, and I've transitioned a lot of my copy in my business and changed even some of my niching. And with the different kind of skill sets and expertise that Sam has, she's ridden through that with me and made it better.
In conclusion, nearly 100 people have used copy on demand over the last several years to write better copy in their business. It is not uncommon for me to get emails every single week saying, "Sam, this is the result that I saw from working with you." Sometimes those results are super tangible. I gave a client a template to fill in for an email one time, and she sold $4,000 of her service in a week. And she was a super niche book writing coach. Sometimes the results, though, are more intangible. They'll say, "Sam, I felt so confident sending this out," or "Sam, I finally got responses from an email that I..." So if in 2026 you're looking to do things that are more hard and trackable, like increasing your opt-in rates, or increasing your sales, or receiving more engagement from what you send. Or if you're looking for more soft value, like learning copywriting skills that you're going to use in perpetuity, or increasing your confidence with your online presence and with your writing, then Copy on Demand is 100% the place for you. I have 2 launches coming up, and then Copy on Demand is very likely staying closed for all of 2026. It's a year-long commitment, and if you join between December 15th and 19th, it's less than $2,000 for the year. However, I have stayed at this price since way back when Frenchie joined 3.5 years ago. So in 2026, I will be raising the price to $2,500 a year. You can break this down into monthly payments. And in 2026, the open cart dates are only January 5th through 9th. I understand, though, that this podcast exists long term. So if you're hearing this and thinking, "Sam, Copy on Demand is 100% the right thing for me," please feel free to reach out. Every so often, somebody needs to leave Copy on Demand. And if there is room, we can have a conversation about what it looks like for you to get my eyes on your copy every single week. I want you to write copy that sounds like you but converts better. I want you to win. I want the ROI on Copy on Demand not just to be that you increased your conversion rates or something, but that you feel so good running your business because you know that when you write, you sell. And when you sell, you get to do more of what you're good at. So let's make the sales part, the writing part, faster. Let's make you feel more confident about it. Let's make sure that you are writing copy that sounds like you, but converts better, faster, and more confidently. The link to join Copy on Demand is in the show notes, or it exists on my website at www.nomadcopyagency.com/copy-on-demand.